Kyrie Irving has once again struck controversy by posting a link to the documentary Hebrews and Negroes Wake Up Black America. This documentary dives into the history of the origins of Black Americans. A letter written directly from the ADL, or Anti-Defamation League, states, "The book and the film are designed to inflame hatred, and now that it's popularized by Mr. Irving, will lead directly to the harm of Jews." This statement feels very dramatic given the acts of Kyrie Irving and given the fact that he simply posted a link to the documentary. Did he make defamatory statements against Jews? Did he commit a hate crime? Most people seem to instantly agree with the media and their views on the situation, but the whole movement seems to lack two sides of the argument. If such a documentary is so hateful and will create an unsafe environment for Jews, how is it still posted by the Amazon store? It makes me wonder, why is Kyrie getting backlash and not Amazon? Being an anti-Semitic is a very extreme viewpoint, and there's no question that it's a movement driven by hate and violence. Kyrie must be in the wrong to promote his anti-Semitic views. In my opinion, he did not promote anti-Semitic views. He was simply exploring the origins of one of the more lost races in the world today. Although I do believe he should be punished given the reach and platform he has to influence through the NBA, I also believe this is the most blown out of proportion controversy in the NBA to date. Let's start with looking at some historic evidence to that claim. First, let's look at Tim Hardaway. This NBA player struck controversy when he went on a talk show and spoke out on his beliefs about another gay NBA player.
Before we let you go, how do you deal with a gay teammate?
First of all, I wouldn't want him on my team, and second of all, if he was on my team, I would, really distance myself from him because I don't think that's right, and I don't think that he should be in a locker room while we're in a locker room, and it's just a whole lot of other things. So I wouldn't even be a part of that. But it's stuff like that going on, and there's a lot other people I hear like that's still in the closet and don't want to come out the closet, but I just leave that alone.
You know that what you're saying there, though, Timmy, is flatly homophobic, right? It's just it's bigotry.
Well, I hate gay people, so I let it be known. I don't like gay people. I don't like to be around gay people. I don't, I'm homophobic. I don't like it. It shouldn't be in the world for that, or in the United States for it.
These statements are actually terrifying since he displays a clear hatred for these people. Anyone who hears this clip should feel uneasy. So what was his punishment for the statements? There was none right off the bat, other than a rightful outrage from the media. He was retired from the NBA, so we couldn't have expected much since he was in no contracts with the organization. He definitely has seen some punishment in the recent days as his eligibility for the Hall of Fame has started, and he's yet to be inducted. He still had a great career, and a full one at that. But from an outside perspective, this seems much worse than posting a documentary online. Next, Kobe Bryant. Now this situation was a bit more unique, and had the outcome been different, he may have been punished more severely. But in July 2003, Kobe Bryant was arrested for his involvement in the sexual assault case. It was filed by a 19-year-old girl who was an employee at the Lodge and Spa in Colorado. Kobe had checked into the same hotel just a couple days before the allegations because of a surgery at a nearby hotel. She filed a police report, and authorities questioned Kobe about bruising on the girl's neck. He admitted to a sexual encounter, but insisted it was a consensual encounter. The case was dropped after the accuser refused to testify. There was later a settlement in a civil case between the accuser and Kobe. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed to the public. The Los Angeles Times reported that legal experts estimated the settlement was more than $2.5 million. After the allegations, Bryant signed a 7-year contract valued at $136 million over 7 years. And he regained several of his endorsements from Nike, Spalding, and Coca-Cola, although his contracts with brands including Nutella and McDonald's were not renewed. There was seemingly no backlash, even though the case was dropped. The NBA did nothing the entire time. This is a bit different since it involves one other person and not an entire religion. So now, we'll dive into Donald Sterling. There's overwhelming evidence that he's been a racist for the entire 33 years he owned the Los Angeles Clippers. In February 2003, the Housing Rights Center of Los Angeles filed a housing discrimination case against Sterling on behalf of 18 tenants. The lawsuit featured several racist statements allegedly made by Sterling to employees, as well as Sterling's alleged intent to rent only to Korean tenants because, quote, they will pay the rent and live in whatever conditions I give them, end quote. While the final terms for the plaintiffs were confidential, the judge said the fees were justified as the settlement obtained by the plaintiffs against Sterling was one of the largest of its kind, and the public benefit terms were significant and wide-ranging. In 2006, the U.S. Department of Justice again sued Sterling for housing discrimination for using race as a factor in filling some of the apartment buildings. The suit charged that Sterling refused to rent to non-Koreans in a Koreatown neighborhood and to African Americans in Beverly Hills. In November 2009, ESPN reported that Sterling agreed to pay a fine of $2.7 million to settle the lawsuit. In February 2009, the Clippers were sued in LA Superior Court by former longtime Clippers executive Elgin Baylor for wrongful termination and employment discrimination on the basis of age and race. The lawsuit alleged that co-defendant Sterling told Baylor that he wanted to fill his team with poor black boys from the South and a white head coach. The suit also alleged that Mike Dunleavy Sr., the head coach, was given a 4-year, $22 million contract as a Caucasian, while Baylor's salary had been frozen at a comparatively small $350,000 since 2003. Baylor later dropped the race accusation. The case went on trial in March 2011 with the jury ruling unanimously in favor of the Clippers and Sterling. During all the lawsuits, the NBA seemingly never stepped in. He was finally forced to step down and punished for his actions. This was on April 25, 2014, when TMZ Sports released a recording of a conversation between Sterling and his mistress, V. Stiviano. In the recording from September 2013, a man confirmed to be Sterling was irate over a photo Stiviano had posted on Instagram in which she posed with Basketball Hall of Famer and Laker great Magic Johnson. Sterling told Stiviano, who herself is part African American, "It bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people, and you can sleep with black people, you can bring them in, you can do whatever you want. But the little I asked you is not to bring them to my games." It took them 33 years and overwhelming evidence that he was a racist to do anything. So this brings us back to Kyrie Irving. He definitely could have avoided some of the backlash with simple statements such as, "I'm not anti-Semitic," or anything along those lines, but he had chosen not to. This definitely doesn't look good and should provoke a better response. It has been reported that Irving must apologize for his social media posts linking to the movie and the book, which he has, and must meet the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and local Jewish leaders, as well as the Nets owner Joe Tsai, whose texts had not been returned. But apparently, the list runs deeper. The Nets also want him to speak with the media and issue a verbal apology for promoting the film, acknowledging its message and it's harmful and untrue. He also has to share an apology on his social media accounts, which he also has. In addition, he has to go to sensitivity training. All the above was reported by Yahoo past Saturday night. The Athletic added that Irving must make $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes and also undergo training to understand anti-Semitism. Does this not seem more extreme than any case to date? I think it is. Now, Kyrie has had issues in the past, including his refusal to take the vax just last NBA season, which is definitely another controversial situation. Even this has arguments for both sides, and in the end, he paid the price for not conforming to the mandate. The media has a large amount of control over what goes and what doesn't. The media is one group of people, and in recent years, they seem to have more influence than any single NBA player. So why can they have their opinion and freedom to say what is right and wrong when Kyrie Irving does not? I am in no way siding with Kyrie and saying that he isn't in the wrong, But at the same time, his punishments have been created with the media's best interests. And although this may be normal in today's society, I definitely don't think Kyrie deserves this much backlash over something that could have been deleted, and thereafter issued an apology statement stating that he's not anti-Semitic, but rather just curious about his origins. So tell me down below, what do you guys think?